It's 3 a.m. The city is asleep, but you're not. The blue light from your phone is a constant companion, illuminating the endless scroll of a life that isn't yours. One moment, you're a silent observer of a friend's Bali vacation. The next, you're a spectator to a stranger's perfect, sun-drenched brunch. Your thumb, an involuntary muscle, keeps moving, searching for something it can never find. You tell yourself it's just a way to wind down, a harmless habit. But the truth is, it's a constant invasion. Every image, every headline, every carefully crafted caption is a new piece of information, a new thought to process, a new comparison to make. This isn't just about social media. It's about the very air you breathe in this modern world. You wake up, and before your feet even hit the floor, your mind is racing. You're already mentally drafting the email you have to send, replaying the conversation from yesterday, and worrying about a deadline that's weeks away. The quiet of the morning is a luxury you can't afford. The moment you're alone with your thoughts, they become a clamoring, restless crowd. We're all living in this new kind of noise, a cacophony not of sound, but of information. The ping of a new notification is a tiny electric shock, demanding your attention. The 24/7 news cycle keeps you perpetually on edge, convinced you're missing something crucial. You try to focus on a single task, but your brain feels like a web browser with 100 tabs open, each one a distraction vying for your attention. You're trying to read a book, but you can't stop thinking about the email you forgot to send. You're on a walk in the park, but your mind is replaying a client meeting from the morning. It feels like you're running a race you never signed up for, and every finish line you cross only leads to another, a new set of demands and anxieties. This is the story of Alex, a story you might find disturbingly familiar. He was a designer, a creative soul living in the heart of San Francisco. His world was a vibrant tapestry of ideas, but his mind had become a battlefield. It was a constant war against the noise, the relentless internal monologue, the anxieties that felt like a physical weight, the endless stream of what-ifs that prevented him from ever truly being in the moment. He found himself perpetually exhausted, not from physical labor, but from the sheer mental gymnastics required to simply get through the day. He'd stare at a blank screen, his creativity stifled not by a lack of ideas, but by the sheer volume of them, all crashing against each other like waves against a cliff face. The silence he once cherished now felt like a void, instantly filled with the chatter of his own thoughts. One morning, something shifted. It wasn't a grand, cinematic epiphany. It was much quieter. He was sitting at his desk, staring at a blank screen, a single line of code mocking him. His mind, as usual, was a chaotic mess of deadlines, worries, and the highlight reels of a dozen other people's lives. And in that moment, for the first time in what felt like forever, he didn't try to fight it. He just stopped. He closed his eyes and listened. He didn't hear a roaring symphony of thoughts, but something more insidious, a low, persistent buzz. It was the sound of his own mind, perpetually on, like a television left on in a vacant room. He realized the problem wasn't the thoughts themselves, it was his reaction to them. He was constantly trying to grab hold of them, to categorize them, to either fight them or get swept away by them. He started small, a conscious, deliberate choice. The first thing he did when he woke up wasn't to grab his phone. Instead, he would simply sit for 5 minutes, just sit. He didn't try to clear his mind, because he knew that was impossible. Instead, he just observed. He watched the thoughts come and go like clouds in the sky. He didn't judge them as good or bad. He didn't follow them down their rabbit holes. He just watched. The first few days were torture. His mind screamed for stimulation, for a distraction. But he persisted. The 5 minutes slowly became 10, then 15. He wasn't meditating in the traditional sense, he was simply untethering himself from the constant need to engage with every thought that entered his mind. He started applying this same principle to his entire day. When he walked to the coffee shop, he left his headphones at home. He would listen to the sounds of the city, the distant sirens, the chatter of people, the rumble of a bus. He wasn't trying to find a profound meaning in it all. He was just listening. He found a new kind of freedom in simply observing the world without the filter of his own internal narrative. During work, when his mind would inevitably start to race, he would close his eyes, take a deep breath, and just notice the feeling of the chair beneath him, the coolness of the air on his skin. He was training his mind to be present, to be here, not somewhere else in the endless future of what-ifs, or the endless past of if-onlys. The thoughts still came, of course, but now they felt less like a flood and more like a gentle stream. He wasn't trying to build a dam. He was learning to swim. He discovered a profound truth. The goal isn't to eliminate the noise, but to change your relationship with it. You'll never silence the world or your mind completely. The emails will still arrive, the news will still break, and the endless scroll of 1,000 other lives will always be just a tap away. The key is to stop letting these things define your inner state. Alex didn't find a magic cure, he found a practice. A consistent, gentle returning to the present moment. He learned that every time he felt the familiar rush of anxiety, he had a choice. He could either get swept away by the current of his thoughts, or he could simply observe them, like a boat watching the water flow by, and then anchor himself back to the reality of his own breath. This isn't about escaping the world, it's about inhabiting it fully. It's about finding the quiet spaces in a noisy life. It's about understanding that your mind is a tool, not a master. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who notices them. So the next time you feel that familiar overwhelm, when your mind becomes 100 open tabs, remember Alex. Don't fight the thoughts. Don't try to force them into submission. Just notice them, acknowledge them, and then, without judgment, bring yourself back. Feel the chair beneath you. Notice the light in the room. Hear the sounds around you. Breathe. You see, the modern world has convinced us that a mind at rest is a mind that is unproductive. We've been trained to believe that constant mental activity is a sign of a life well lived. But the greatest works of art, the most profound insights, and the deepest connections are born, not from chaos, but from a place of stillness. The most important thing you can do for yourself in this loud world is to find your own quiet. It's a journey not of addition, but of subtraction. Not of seeking more, but of being content with less. Less noise, less distraction, less pressure to be everything, everywhere, all at once. Just you, here, now, free.